this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Look at this delightful headline from you today. Xrp prints 7-day high to lead altcoin growth. And yes, indeed, Xrp has been notably outperforming in the short term. And I also happen to believe personally that over the long term, Xrp from this exact moment in time will substantially outperform Bitcoin in terms of a multiplier effect, in terms of the opportunity for life-changing wealth. And I still think that people investing in Bitcoin now at this point, frankly, to me, it seems like an incredible entry point even for new people. That's my personal opinion, which is not me telling anybody to go buy or not buy anything. That's not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you my personal opinion. I really do believe that at these suppressed price levels, even Bitcoin, if it's going to persist, and I hope it will, I'm to whatever degree optimistic. That'd be good for the space, frankly. Even if you're not a huge fan of Bitcoin technologically, it'd be good for that boat not to be rocked. But even if you consider Bitcoin gets to a crazy high price, like $1 million, which some people are calling for, if XRP is going to have long-term viability too, and I sure as hell think it will, what does that mean for the multiplier effect of XRP for that same period of time? It would just dramatically outpace it. So still happy to be holding Bitcoin. I certainly happily report that I hold Bitcoin, and I'm still optimistic for it. But for a coin like XRP, my gosh, that's just the sweet spot right there, where there's still this opportunity for insanely life-changing wealth if we get the multiplier effect that we're hoping for. And it's already tested. It's been tested for a decade. So the odds that there's going to be some sort of hole in the code itself that would result in the failure, exceedingly low, as close to zero as you can possibly imagine. And it's continually being adopted. So that's why, for me, XRP is the sweet spot where, and I understand, if you have a small cap coin that takes off, then you'd have way better results in that than XRP, but that's not the sweet spot for me. That's substantially more risky, and I'm just not as interested in that. Crypto's risky enough in general. So anyway, I want to share that story with you and some other ones, but I'm just telling you right now, and I'll talk about it. There's optimism that there's going to be greener pastures yet ahead, and we're, again, at the bottom of the bear market, are very close in all probability. I certainly believe that. And unless, of course, the contagion spreads, but even that would only go on for what amount of time, But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby, and just for fun. The crypto ecosystem is experiencing a modest bullish resurgence today, with a combined market capitalization up 0.24% at $113.29 billion. Of the top 10 cryptocurrencies, XRP is standing out in terms of its growth track and trading volume over the past 24 hours. The coin is leading the pack and is currently changing hands at 36.77 cents, up 4.93% over the past 24 hours. Now, they go on to note, I don't really feel the need to read this whole article, but they end up noting that, if you look at Bitcoin, it had a weekly uptick of 0.4%, Ethereum up 1.4%, XRP is up for the same time period, 7.13%. It's just delightful to see. And so, in a general sense, still, obviously, the entire market class, or asset class, rather, market class, the entire asset class moves in tandem. But still, I'll take the good news headlines where I can get them, especially in times like these. But there's so much reason to be optimistic for the long haul. In fact, consider this. There's another headline from you today. Bitcoin rallied 600% last time this happened. Will history repeat? And you'll see what they're getting at here. You have certain human behaviors that occur in times where there's uncertainty and there's already been a catastrophic breakdown in terms of price action. Volatility can decrease. And historically, when this has happened, it has marked the bottom. And then you just have explosive growth. So check this out. Dennis Porter, CEO of Satoshi Yak Fund, observes that Bitcoin's volatility is currently at historic lows. Posting a chart, he noted that the last time Bitcoin volatility fell this low, it went on a 600% rip. On-chain data reveals that Bitcoin volatility is at an all-time low. In the chart Porter posted, he points to a similar drop in volatility in late 2020. It should be recalled that Bitcoin broke out of the consolidation phase in October 2020, and its price was then a little below $10,000. And fast forward to almost a year later, when Bitcoin reached an all-time high of $69,000 in November 2021, representing a near 600% increase. Now, folks, many of you listening were there for that time period, but there will be a number of you that were not, and you jumped in afterwards. Well, we all have our entry points, so congratulations for paying attention and being here. Kudos to you for real, because most people are not sufficiently paying attention to what's happening in crypto. And it's just, because I know it's a boring bear market. Well, I don't think it's boring, but this is the time to be paying attention. But anyway, so I was there. I was there when this happened. I remember exactly what the mood of the room was at that point in time before Bitcoin went on a tear. People weren't happy. In fact, people had the attitude that things were never going to get better. It was just that feeling. And it's the same thing here now. It seems impossible. It's never going to happen until one day you wake up, and then it is. And that, I firmly believe, is going to happen again, which is why I'm happy to be more patient than anyone else. Because I think it's going to result in ridiculous, incredible returns at some unknown point in time in the future. That's my bet. And if I'm wrong, fine. Maybe I'm wrong and it goes to zero. That's a possibility. I do not think so, though. So I place my bets accordingly. It's risky investing in crypto, but it's risky investing in anything, and I've done my homework. I'm sufficiently happy with what I'm doing here to this point. So I've just been thrilled that, even though, fine, look, I would have preferred to have seen an alt season, the caliber we saw in like 2017 into early 2018. I would have preferred that. But instead, he had a number of coins run a bit, but not the entire alt, class of altcoins. And then the market cratered down. So we didn't get quite the fun that we were hoping for in that sense. And so, yes, I would have preferred that, but I'm perfectly happy to have seen prices crater. And now, twist my arm, I have an opportunity to buy even more cheap, because my bags were packed before the market started cratering. So even if you go back, to the beginning of the second half of 2021, or is that when it was? I think it's probably roughly when I stopped purchasing crypto for that period of time anyway. I was like, yeah, my bags are packed. And then I was happy with how much I had back then. But then, what happened with Luna collapsing and then half a year later you got FTX and all that stuff. So I've been happy to purchase more. Would have been happier if we saw a gigantic shot to the upside, a new all-time high for XRP. Fine, of course. But fine, I have to be more patient. But I'm going to have even bigger rewards when this ultimately happens. And I still think it's an inevitability. And then there's this from the Daily Hodl. On-chain analyst Willy Woo updates Bitcoin bear market outlook. Says Bitcoin can collapse fiat system at certain price. Willy Woo. This guy. So a lot of what he says I think is pretty reasonable. And a lot of what he says actually is insightful. He just has some silly opinions about XRP itself. But hey, whatever. He's not. I don't see him really being trollish, so it's fine. He doesn't have to feel the same about cryptos as me. I'm not tribal about that crap. It's fine. But I do think it's kind of silly, this idea of a certain price occurs for Bitcoin and then fiat system collapse. I don't really get that. But anyway, check this out. Leading on-chain analyst Willy Woo is making a prediction for when the current Bitcoin bear market could reverse course. Woo tells his 1 million Twitter followers that he thinks the Bitcoin bear market will be longer than the one in 2018, but shorter than 2015. Quote, "The main question I have is how long this cycle's accumulation zone will be." And I'm going to pause right there just to highlight that for people that are not just emotional buyers and sellers, it's understood that there are emotional buyers and sellers. They cause the volatility, which makes life-changing wealth possible in investing in general. But there's this calm, cool, collected understanding that, yeah, there are market cycles and we're in what is known as an accumulation zone. It's a thing not to be fearful of, but to take advantage of. That's the point I wanted to make on that. And so he's just cool, calmly, collectively just stating, yeah, we're just in an accumulation zone. Not a big deal. Anyway. The rest of his quote reads as follows. Judging from all the blowups, it's more akin to 2013 with the Mt. Gox collapse. Remember, 90% plus of Bitcoin was traded there. I suspect it will be longer than 2018, but shorter than 2015, end quote. Woo shares a chart showing the cost basis of long-term holders, those who have held onto Bitcoin for at least 155 days, and short-term holders. And Woo's chart suggests that when short-term holders' cost basis drops below the cost basis of long-term holders, it coincides with a market bottom. Woo also weighs in on some of the more bullish Bitcoin predictions that put Bitcoin at $1 million per coin, including that of Cathie Wood from ARK Invest. Woo says if Bitcoin reaches $1 million in value, as Wood has predicted, it could crash the fiat currency system. Okay, well, look, as far as Bitcoin going to $1 million, I don't know if it's going to happen. It doesn't sound wacky or impossible to me. And in fact, the more time passes, the more optimistic I am about Bitcoin. It's not like its technology is getting any better. That's for damn sure. And Lightning Network is what it is. It's a network that doesn't work very well, at least today. I hope it gets fixed. I'm not optimistic it will. Maybe it will, but the reason that I'm more optimistic, and it just gave me a huge boost of confidence just to see that there is a real solution, a real layer 2 solution for making it possible to spend Bitcoin like actual money. And it was done with the XRP ledger. With, Jay, remember, he created Spend the Bits. So he used the XRP ledger to move Bitcoin. It's not a science experiment. That works today. It just works. And once I saw that, I was like, wow. I mean, the fact that Bitcoin was there first legitimately matters. And if you don't believe that, try starting your own cryptocurrency. See if you can get any market share. I'm guessing probably not. So the fact that it's here first actually matters. It's been adopted. When something becomes a standard for any aspect of life, it's hard to supplant that unless you have something that's notably better. And in terms of just being a store of value, there's that. But if you're talking about Bitcoin because of layer 2 technology being able to move as quickly as XRP, which is what we're talking about, that's awesome. So it's already been adopted, and for that reason, it may stick around forever. So even just that, and I don't know if Jay's system, I hope he has success, continued success. I don't know for sure if that would be, will ever be the primary way to move Bitcoin around. But just seeing that technologically it's proven to work, I'm just like, oh yeah. Because you know that there are other ways you could do it too then. You could, even if it's very similar to what he's doing. So I look at that, I'm like, yeah, I'm more optimistic in Bitcoin now. I'm happier to hold it because of XRP and the XRP ledger. Think about that. It's kind of cool to look at it that way, right? So Bitcoin helps XRP's long-term viability and vice versa. That's the coolest damn thing on the planet as far as I'm concerned. So the idea of Bitcoin getting there, I mean, given that barely any humans hold any crypto right now in 2022, 3 or 4% of humans have ever held crypto. Like, oh my gosh. And it's already jumped up to 70 grand just about. Yeah, the idea of Bitcoin at $1 million is not wacky if it's going to be here for the long haul. And that's the question. I don't know for sure if it will. I hope it will. I think it could. I'm more optimistic than 5 years ago. And, because even if I really didn't think a ton of Bitcoin stuff. Like when I first jumped into crypto, I didn't think a lot of it made sense. I wasn't completely swearing it off. I was still just trying to figure stuff out. I was brand new, of course. But, you got to come to a point. Eventually I did reach a point where it's like, at some point, it doesn't matter what I think about Bitcoin if I think it doesn't make sense for so-and-so reason, because the world's telling me otherwise. It's this, and the same thing should be realized by XRP haters. It doesn't matter what I think about XRP. Say I've got a negative opinion about XRP. It doesn't matter what I think. I hate XRP and I think it's garbage. Well, it's actually being adopted though. Shouldn't I be paying attention to the reality of what's unfolding right here and then bet accordingly? Or am I just going to let my personal bias wreck an opportunity? So I apply that to myself also. And I've just been like, well, the world wants it. And on top of that, it looks like technologically it makes more sense. But, XRP haters should do that with XRP as well. And so here, when you're talking about, Bitcoin crashing the fiat currency system, here's what he had to say. Bitcoin price above, say, $1 million per coin could be very unstable. ARK Invest, among others, predicts $1 million per coin. At these corresponding capitalizations, Bitcoin becomes a true challenger to fiat. Thus, it's a price range where fiat collapses. No, I disagree with that. It's the price of Bitcoin itself is not the metric to look at to determine what will or will not impact fiat. So fiat needs to continue to crumble on its own, first of all. But setting that aside, even if you think there are metrics about crypto that would cause fiat to crash, it shouldn't be the price. It isn't the price. I think he's dead wrong on that. It's more like how many humans are using Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency instead of fiat currency. Where's the money actually flowing? Where's the trust? Because if you're trusting a decentralized system where technically trust isn't, it's funny to word it like that, but like trust in a system that doesn't require trust. But you know what I mean. Well, if it teeters more in that direction, it doesn't matter if Bitcoin's worth, $20,000 or $1 million, because that's not the reason that fiat would collapse. Fiat is being abused. And on top of that, if people are moving more so in another direction, those are the things to watch for. And yes, it's more likely that we'll be at a point where there's that type of adoption if the price is higher because, more people jumping in, finite amount of Bitcoin, of course, so you'd be likely to see a much higher price. But that's not the reason you'd see the shift. That's the one point I wanted to make. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.